So where do you belong?
Which sides are available?
Well, it's obvious to you. You're a leader in the party.
Which sides are available?
Yeah, but there are no two sides. Governor Arufa and the Governor Ganduje who are opposed to what the president's directive is, and those who are on the side of the president.
It's federalism in action. Those who are clamoring for true federalism, this is true federalism in action. People are thinking that this is the first time that governors of the APC are taking the president to court. It's not. On various issues, they have always challenged the president in court. It doesn't affect their amity. It doesn't affect the cohesion of the party. It doesn't affect the cohesion of these individuals. And the president, at times approves, for the institutions set up by the Constitution to resolve disputes. And the courts are there to resolve disputes. Don't forget that the governors took the president to court over certain executive orders that he gave, I think regarding the judiciary, state judiciaries, and legislature, and they won at the Supreme Court. The governors have also gone to court over certain payments that were to be made, to certain individuals, I think regarding the Party Club refund, and so many others. This is only just coming up now to the public glare and, stirring up controversy because, they are using it to play politics and they think it's going to affect the elections one way or the other. But I'll tell you that the APC governors, and that's the kind of thing we promote within the APC, the freedom to challenge anything that you feel is unconstitutional, and the president has always welcomed it. This is not the first time the APC governors are taking the president to court. It's not.
Let's get your legal perspective.
Yes.
Did the president violate the order of the Supreme Court?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you that my loyalty, ultimate loyalty, lies in my profession. As a member of the INABA, I was first of all a senior advocate before I was headhunted to serve in public office. So my primary loyalty is to my profession. So at every point in time, because of posterity, I must speak the truth. I must, because the law does not change. It remains forever. Secondly, I've also vowed as a member of cabinet and also a senior advocate to uphold and defend the tenets of our Constitution at all times. Those are my primary loyalties to the Constitution. So at every point in time, I must express my views. There's also nothing, I'll let you know that. It's only a parliamentary system that runs collective responsibility. Our presidential system does not run collective responsibility where every member of government is expected to defend every single policy, especially when it does not come to cabinet. This decision was not a cabinet decision. If it were a cabinet decision, I'm bound by the decision of cabinet. But it was not a cabinet decision of which I am part of. So these two places I belong to, and very few people belong to there, those two elite clubs. I'm a member of cabinet, I'm also a member of the INABA. It's only 4 of us in this country that belong to those two, and I am bound to uphold, the tenets of each of these. But so let me tell you this. My view is that the president acted honestly, without intention to slight the Supreme Court, but he may have acted on wrong advice. I did not give that advice. It's not my responsibility. I don't know who gave that advice. So I want to say this openly, and because by tomorrow, people will ask me where I stood at this time. So I think the president did not, because in his speech, he acknowledged that there were certain matters in court. So he thought he was playing safe by saying, okay, whilst before you decide these matters in court, may I just provide some middle ground so that the country is burning, there are riots everywhere, so let me just try and provide some succor to the people, whilst acknowledging the matters are in court. Now, if I were to advise him, I would have advised differently. I did not advise him. It's not my responsibility. I don't know who.
What would you have advised him?
To comply strictly with the terms of the order of the Supreme Court.
And which is?
All the notes should circulate for now. All the notes. All the old notes circulate side by side with the new notes for now. Because that is the order of the Supreme Court. And by virtue of our Constitution, all authorities in Nigeria, all, must obey the orders of the Supreme Court. Anything to the contrary is a descent to anarchy And let me tell you, the day we begin to disobey the order of the Supreme Court, that is an invitation to intervention, to revolutionary intervention, or other kind of intervention in our democracy, because the judiciary and the Supreme Court is the last bastion to defend our democracy. So I will not sit down here as a member of the Inaba and desecrate the Supreme Court. I've heard all kinds of arguments. Some people were here yesterday desecrating the Supreme Court, those who are supposedly lawyers. They were casting aspersions on the justices of the Supreme Court. And I want to sit down here and deprecate that in the strongest terms. People who think they are holier than thou, who think, and they say, and what did they say? They said we are angry. This is a time to say the truth. What is the truth? The truth is only your opinion. You can't come here and say you are angry at what? These are people who were part of the PDP, who were flushed out by Nigerians in 2015. So what are you angry about? That Nigerians flushed you out? Is our democracy, government of anger by anger or by anger? What's the meaning of anger? Say, I'm angry. Anger is only your opinion. Your anger is only your opinion. We have all agreed, Shehu, we have all agreed to abide by the Constitution as a nation so that we cannot descend into animalistic behavior. And so by so doing, let me finish. By so doing, we have decided that at every point in time we want to change the government, we will go to the polls and then cast our votes quietly and peacefully. And whatever results are announced and it is free and fair, we accept the outcome. If you disagree, you go to court. And that is why the courts are there to intervene in electoral matters. And these are the people who want to rule Nigeria, who have no regard for rule of law and the Supreme Court, and so you are angry. Go and take your anger to the polls. Don't come here and rant. And then you come and pour invectives on one of the government. Imagine telling the public that El Rufai he splits from two sides of the mouth. That kind of language on air yesterday. How dare we entertain such characters in Nigeria? I will not take it.
Let's break it down further. So you said, the summary of your submission is that you don't think the president did the right thing in the eye of the law.
For me, I think the president went on with the best of intentions.
But erred on the side of law.
Best of intentions.
That's your position.
My personal view is that perhaps he may have been misdirected along the line. So, but he went with the best of intentions.
The governor of Kaduna State was making reference to the AGF. Could that be the advice come from that quarters?
I have no idea at all.
Okay, so,
I have no idea. So let me tell you about the governor of Kaduna State and what they have done. Like I said, it is true federalism at play. They are defending their territory. Don't forget that the governors are also under oath as the president too. What is that oath? To defend the Constitution, to obey all the laws of the land.
Okay.
So the governors, I heard Baba Dati Ahmed and some other people, they are just playing politics with everything in Nigeria. What's the meaning of treason? Do they know the meaning of treason? The governors have a territory to protect. Don't forget that. They are the CEOs of their state. They have to keep peace within their state.
In the case of currency.
Hold on. They have to keep peace within their state. Not currency, Supreme Court. Just forget about currency now.
Just a moment. Because the directive of the president is in the distribution and in the deployment of the currency notes.
The governors are acting under the orders of Supreme Court. Don't lose focus on that. They are not countermanding the president. No. They are not. They are saying, I have an order in front of me, and they have a duty as CEOs. They are under oath to defend the Constitution and implement the judgment of the Supreme Court. Had locus to challenge because he was raising constitutional issues in that case. It was not to talk of people who are heads of subnationals. And let me tell you something they are deceiving the public about. Oh, you did not join CBN. You did not join the banks. It's just a lie. Because the CBN and the banks are agents of the federal government in this instance. The banks are not implementing anything of their own. So there's no action against the banks. The CBN is also implementing anything of its own. It is by a directive of the federal government. So what is an issue is a directive of the federal government being implemented by its agents. For this purpose, the CBN and the banks are agents of the federal government. And you know the principle of law. Once you catch the principal, you don't sue the agents. Once a principal is disclosed, once there's a disclosed principal, most times we go to court, we just add all of these people. We add them out of surplusage. You don't need to. What the court is saying is that go back and change your directive.
All right. So let's refocus and
yes.
let's get back to the conversation and the implication of all of this.
Yes.
There are those who believe that all of these policies are geared towards one thing, to affect the chances of the APC candidate. And I'd like to ask, with what is going on, is there any implication for your candidate at the next week poll?
The implication is very positive now. Let me tell you why. And give me time. I want to talk about this. Now, these people sat down, and we have our intelligence. I believe the governors, they have their intelligence too, and thought they could contrive something. And what they are doing is a crime. Let me tell you that. Not the president. These people who think they can misrepresent or, misimplement the directive of government. Because now we are not clear. Maybe they sold currency swap to government. Currency swap is that, you know what currency swap? I'll answer your question. I want to tell you, I want to lead to that, to show that there was a grand deception, a grand criminal deception. You said it's currency swap. What you are doing is currency confiscation. It's not swap. Swap is that you want to swap, I bring 1,000, you give me 1,000. I bring 5,000, you give me 5,000 of the new notes. You said all of us should rush our money in. At that time you said we should rush our money in. The new notes were not available. I think that was where we also got it wrong as citizens. We should have insisted. Some of the Nigerians said, look, the agency of government, are they available now? I'm bringing my 500,000 to the bank. Is the new note available now? I want to collect it. But they said, come and deposit. We all rushed and deposited. Take it back now, you say 5,000. It's confiscation. What happened to financial freedom? You have confiscated my money. You have denied me of my rights over my money. That's the grand deception they sold to everybody. The second one is that by so doing, you now began to say, no, the country should go to, what's it called, cashless. Did you tell Nigerians you wanted to now enforce cashless? Did you tell Nigerians? And if you told Nigerians that, did you tell the banks that, look, now we want to enforce cashless. You need to expand your infrastructure because the rush now will be much. So you now give them, fintech companies and the banks, you give them a hiatus, give them some time. Say, look, I'm giving you this time to expand your infrastructure before we now migrate fully to cashless. You didn't do that. The existing infrastructure, nobody, 5-10% were doing cashless in Nigeria. I'd always been doing cashless, so these things didn't affect me so much because I'd always gone to cashless for some time, but not others. Okay? So now, all of a sudden, the banks saw the rush to cashless and their infrastructure collapsed. We could not transfer money for some time. So how did they design this devilish plan?
Of this policy, because we've seen more of the reaction coming from your party and from leaders of your party. Why so?
Well, I think what these people did, the conspirators, I'll call them for this purpose, is to sit down and conjure up a big behavioral experiment to rile up the people against the government and the ruling party. That was their grand plan. And in more civilized society, that is actually the treason. Because if you engage in any act, and you remember the Watergate scandal? That was also part of the Watergate scandal. And also, if you remember, what even the PDP did in 2015, by something analytical. If you remember something
Cambridge
Analytical. Just engage in behavioral experiment, rile up the people against government, bring out fake news, or manipulate people to vote in a particular way, manipulate them by wicked devices. That is the treason. I see people today standing and say the governors committed treason. Do they know the definition of treason? Do they know definition of treason? They say treason. I laugh at them when they say treason. It is they themselves who are conspiring with them that are committing treason. Because let me tell you this. All of a sudden, PDP gets up from nowhere and begins to praise Buhari. I say, what a time to be alive. Oh, Buhari is an honest man. He wants to make sure. I say, wait a minute. These are people who have always told Nigerians that Buhari's integrity is fake, that Buhari is not an honest man, and blah, blah, blah. Now, you wake up one morning and you are praising Buhari because of politics, because you think, in your own estimation, that the policy in place is designed to curtail or to affect or to harm your opponents. Now, in that regard, they are cutting their nose to spite their faces. Let me tell you why. Because in the process of doing that, in saying that, oh, now they are begging the people, all of a sudden they are the ones begging Nigerians, not the ruling party. They have gotten themselves into a convoluted position, a cul-de-sac. They just got themselves into a mess and scored an own goal. Now they are the ones begging Nigerians not to riot. They are the ones begging Nigerians to support government policy, opposition, to support government policy. Why? Because in their perception, I do not agree, they think that that's against Asiwaju. The policy. So in that regard, Shehu, they would now prefer Nigerians to die, Nigerians to go naked in the banks, for banks to be burnt down, for people to die on the queue. They prefer that because they want to harm one man. They want to harm one man. In other words, no, let me finish. In other words, in the process of pursuing one rat in the house, they prefer the house to be burnt down entirely.
You've not told me how this affects the chances of your candidate.
But that's what I'm telling you now.
Because that's what some of your leaders are saying.
But that is where I'm coming to now.
But please go there.
So in so doing now, the people are now beginning to see that these people, especially the PDP leaders, they are wicked, they are callous, they are heartless, they are cold when it comes to the pursuit of power. They don't mind destroying the entire Nigeria. They don't mind destroying the lives of citizens so long as they come back to power. No empathy, no sympathy, nothing, no compassion for Nigerians at all. That is what I'm telling you. Let me finish.
Hold on now.
Let me finish.
Because you're not quite
You are disturbing my flow.
I'm not disturbing your flow. I'm asking you the question.
Let me tell you, sir. Because I'm hitting them hard now. Allow me to hit them hard.
Just hold on. Now, who are you defending? Now, the APC or Nigerians? So
let me finish my thought. I will answer that one. Let me finish this one first. So what they are now doing, so you can now say Nigerians now saw them for who they are. So at the end of the day, Shehu, what they intended to affect Asiwaju has totally boomeranged and affected them. Let me tell you, this is God's design for Asiwaju's victory to be legitimate, to be internationally accepted, because now everybody knows that Asiwaju has no official backup, no government support. He's relying basically on the strength and power of Nigerians, of the masses to vote him in. Now everybody has acknowledged, because even PDP, they are laughing at him. Oh, the government is not supporting you here and there, you know. So now I think this is designed to give Asiwaju the most legitimate victory we have had in this country since 1960.
Do you react to the allegations by political party opponents who say many governors have stashed away old notes in their billions and are therefore badly affected by this policy?
This is just the lie from the pit of hell. Nobody has stashed any notes, and nobody wants to buy votes.
Why are you so sure?
Let me tell you now why. Nobody wants to buy votes. How many votes are you going to buy? And it is just a lie. Let me tell you, the last 3 elections where they used beavers, APC won 1, lost 2. PDP won 1, lost 2. ABGA won 1, lost 2. As a ruling party, why didn't we win all when we bought votes? As a ruling party, why didn't PDP win all 2? It's just a lie. What they do, if you did philosophy 101 in school, that's what they call the fallacy of hasty generalization. That is the fallacy they commit. Sometimes you see in 1 or 2 polling units, people are attempting to give people money here and there. And then they use it to now blow it up and say, oh, everybody bought votes during the election. How many votes can you really buy off? Maybe 40 million Nigerians that will come.
Is that the reason why you think
it is just a lie? Let me tell you why.
That nobody is touching
Let me tell you why. But I'll give you an example. I'm assuming without conceding that you gave 3 months that you want to change currency. Okay? And I have so much money. You think I'll be stupid enough to keep the cash, not to go and deposit it in various accounts? You think I'll be stupid enough not to go and buy foreign currency to keep? You think I'll be stupid enough not to dispose of that cash and wait till the last day and begin problem? It's just a lie. Nobody wants to buy votes. The governors of the APC are genuinely concerned about the sufferings of Nigerians. That's all they are. They're concerned about. Let me tell you this, what are you buying votes for during election? Because demographically, we are winning. We are clear ahead.
How do you?
And secondly, let me tell you this.
The election is not even here.
Let me go down to the basics of election. And I think my brother Dogowa mentioned it some 2 days ago. You know, when he said there are legitimate funds approved by law. Don't forget that. For me to run the elections, I don't need to launder money. He said for him, for example, he needs 70 million as approved by law. As approved by law, we have about 5 billion approved by law. You know that. What do we need to launder money for? And Let me address this issue of moving money during election day. INEC said now they need money to move during election day. When you tell people this and you deceive Nigerians, you are just being, I'm sorry, you are being economical with the truth to Nigerians. Every political party needs to move money around on election day, not bribing of voters. Let me tell you why. You have appointed agents across 177 polling units across the country. Listen to this. I want Nigerians to listen to this. They are telling them lies, including people who says they don't spend shishi. They are telling them lies. They move money around. You need to give these agents stipends because you need them to wait. And this is legitimate money approved by law. It's not bribe. You need to wait from 8 o'clock when the voting starts. You need to wait at times to 10 o'clock in the night. Are you following me, Shehu? These agents need to be in place. Don't leave there for 1 hour. Don't leave, because when you leave, they may manipulate your vote. So the parties require them to stay. And don't leave there. When they stay, they need to drink Coke. They need to drink Pepsi. They need to go and buy bread for me and cook. I'm not living here. They will give stipend. That is what is done.
Mr. Keyamo,
to agents. So these are the things they give. It's not
just a moment.
They are deceiving Nigerians.
Just why is it that
I want to finish now.
No.
This logic of
because
saying
you do not. This is not a free airtime. Like I said earlier, why is it that the APC is the only political party vehemently fighting this policy?
No, because it is designed. They think they want to design it to rile up anger against the ruling party. Don't forget that once there is an anger on the streets about a policy, then it is against the ruling party, supposedly. Do you understand me? I'm struggling to explain to you. So it's not about the money now. It's about an experiment in behavioral pattern of Nigerians. That look,
the president in his speech yesterday spoke about curtailing the politicians' use of money in elections. Do you think he's right?
They sold a dummy to him. Because who gave the mandate to CBN to cover election buying? Is that part of mandate of CBN? Go and look at the CBN Act. You are doing it through CBN. That's EFCC and some other. There are legitimate ways to go after people who want to influence election with money. The CBN Act has no provision. I'm sorry, does not have any provision for curtailing vote buying. It does not have. So what's the mandate? What mandate is the CBN executing?
Do you know what your critics are saying, Mr. Keyamo, just in a moment, that you are hiding under the sufferings of Nigerians, claiming that you love Nigerians and fighting this policy for your own gains and benefits?
We can get money to our agents without moving money around. I just want to let you know that it has not affected APC in any way. We are winning. I'm not saying this out of arrogance. We will win. Fair and square. We will win. We will not. It is not a problem to us. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you. Can I explain this to Nigerians?
How do you then tell Nigerians?
What you needed money for in those days is to bribe law enforcement agencies during the time of PDP. And that is what is in their head. That is why you can see them reacting this way. They think it is money they use to win election. The PDP has no other method to win election but crooked means. Over the years, they conducted the worst elections in the history of this country, especially the 2007 election that the Obasanjo declared to be do or die. As different from this president. So they have no other means to win election. It's the most crooked set of people I've ever seen in my life. So what they are doing now, they normally compromise security agents, the police, the soldiers, and all that. Why? Because you have to give them money when they are carrying the results from polling unit to the ward collation center. They swap it, they beat up people, you give them money. It is no longer possible.